Welcome back to my tutorial. For this episode, I'll talk about making animation with Animator, and specifically it's called the motion file. Now before I begin, I need to clarify something that I mentioned in last episode. Last episode is called expression, and I was telling everyone that we are making expression files. Now that's not quite accurate because there is a specific file or output that is generated in Live2D viewer, and it's called expression files. If you're working on a project with someone and you got a programmer using Live2D SDK in Unity and making an Android game or a visual novel game, you do not want to confuse these technical terms. And if the person asks you to, your partner asks you to give them a expression file, you give them a motion file, then everything will not work. Your project will get into a mess. Now, the thing I need to clarify is that there are a few types of post modeling developments. Right? You can make a motion file, and it's called the MTN file. You can make expression files, pose files, where you do a different kind of posing, and then there's a physics engine. All right. So, excuse me. Motion files is made in Live2D Animator. Everything else are made in Live2D Viewer. Now I'm gonna demonstrate quickly what exactly is how do you do an expression in Live2D Viewer. All right. So if you're asked to provide some expression files, you do not want to open your Animator, do some simple animations and output them in motion files and give them to your developers, because that would confuse them. All right. What I did last week was making simple motion files. They're so simple that the character only does one reaction or one expression, and I called that an expression. Now that's not accurate. All right, I'm not supposed to call them expressions. What expressions really are is right here. All right, so we got the Live2D viewer, and by default you can move around, and your character will follow the pointer, and then you can write expression files. If you do not see them, by default you should only see your model and your texture file. But if you go here, you go to project and you click add expression, and then you generate a folder along with the first expression file, which is called f00.exp.json. And then let's try another one. Let's make another one so that I have two of them. The first one will be my default expression. So the current phase you're looking at right now, this normal state, is my first expressions. Just for testing purposes, all right? You may not need to have one. But and then we'll go to the second one, and this is the one where I want to generate a blushing face, all right? So I should have her face slightly downwards, tilt this side, and turn to this side. And then I want her eyes to be slightly closed. I want her eyeball to look back at you a little bit, maybe here. And then I'll need her blush, maybe like this. All right. And now what I made here is, like, as you can see, a transition from one state to another, or a transition between expressions. All right, there's a normal state and there's a blushing state. And this is currently what I want to provide to my developers. I want them to play this animation or this transition whenever it's called upon a certain event. Maybe it's a certain action that the user or the player selected, and she will do this. She will change from this state, or whatever current state she's in. Maybe she was mad, maybe she was crying, or she was surprised. No matter what it was, change it to this one. And after I built this JSON file in here, I can go to project, write, and I can go setting file, or I can output all the expressions, and that will generate a JSON file where it contains the data that makes this face. And you can further control, there's no keyframe here, there's no timeline. So how do you control the speed? Well, there's a little bit control with the fade in and fade out. Currently the default is 500 for fade in, 500 fade out, and that's sort of like the speed of how fast it changes to change in and change out. Now if you want, I want to try it faster. I want her to transition from the last phase to this one in a shorter time. I can do 100 ms. Now if I try now, you should be able to see her change her face much quicker than previously. But when she changes back to normal, it's still the same pace. Or let's try a slower one. Let's try 900, all right? And then we got this normal phase, and she does this slowly, all right? And then she changes back out. Now, this is how you're supposed to make expression files for your game or project to play around with the expressions. The only reason why you use Animator to do the same thing is that you want really accurate, precise control over a phase changing, all right? That's transition. However, there's going to be limitations. Specifically, you cannot carry on some of those parts or parameters that was active before this phase. For say like whatever reason her hair should turn red already instead of orange, and so she had this red hair state or a blue eye state, all right? And then she's still going to continue on doing different kind of expressions. Now you're just going to make, if you're going to make Animator to do all these jobs, which you shouldn't be, but if you do so, the problem is that this motion, you have her hair orange, which means that you cannot continue on her red hair state or her blue eye state or whatever else that should continue on and pass this phase without changing. All right, so it cannot consist of continuous data. So the benefit of using Live2D Viewer to do JSON files instead is that the things that are not affected or is not changed, they would smartly filter out or carry down. Of course, you can still make motion files to do that, but it's a lot more trouble. It's gonna have a different kind of limitations. So it's generally not a good thing, especially when your programmers are using the Live2D SDK for Unity or other platforms. You do not want to make their jobs harder. So let's try to do this, all right? If you got expressions for all the blushing, the angry, the crying, the laughing, all those one face changes, do them in Live2D Viewer, export them as JSON file. Now back to Live2D Animator, we're gonna do something else. We're gonna do something that Animator is good at and particularly built for, which is the motion file. So what you call a motion file is what you can do a sequence of expressions along with lip sync, eye blinking, and all that, and run a whole scene, run a whole skit to read out a script or to follow a voice acting, a voice clip. That is what you should be working with Animator. All right. So this is my sample for you.
Ta-da! Sup, shorty? I'ma be your trainer. Right now you like pow, but when I'm done you're gonna be like pillar pow. Get your butt to the arena and let's do this shiz.
All right. So this is, as you can see, there is a MP3 file right here, and that is the voice clip. And then there's a bunch of Live2D model parameters, but there's also a lip sync section where it controls the fine refinement of this lip sync thing, so that you don't really need to control her lips or her mouth for every transition, for every word she speaks. All right, you can automatically generate the basic one, and then you can work further refinement if you want, which I did too. So how do we do that? This is where we're gonna start the episode, right? So let's start with a new scene. Press new, and I'm gonna just name it by default, and then you'll see a blank file, blank project in the middle. Now go back to your material tab, and first of all import your model in. So like this, drag your model into the center and you'll see your character. All right, and it should have nothing. By default it would have a frame timed about 3.25 seconds maybe, and that's all the default things you have. You can expand the list to see your parameters and parts, but they shouldn't have any keyframe keyed in yet. Next, we need to import the MP3 voice clip. Get your MP3 file and then drag and drop into the material scene. As you can see right here, I already have tina.mp3. So you just drag and drop here, and then it should load up a file. If this doesn't work for you, which didn't work for me at first, most likely is that you're using the 64-bit Animator, and currently I'm not sure it applies for everyone, but I had trouble with using 64-bit to work with the voice clip because my Java by default only has a 32 bits for the newest one. All right, so after you update your Java, make sure it's updated and try to throw in the MP3. And if 64-bit doesn't work for you, then probably you want to give 32-bit a try. It might tell you, if it doesn't work, it will tell you something about QuickTime could not be found or cannot be recognized. Make sure you got QuickTime too, but even if you got QuickTime set up, the major thing is that Java does not have a 64-bit right now on your machine. So get your Java, get your QuickTime, make sure you got the 32-bit ones, and then start up again with your Live2D Animator in 32-bit version. You can keep all your progress. You can still load up the same thing, and it's not going to be a problem. But once you got that done, you should have your MP3 right here. Next thing, we're going to make this scene to work with this MP3. Now, first drag and drop the MP3 down here to the bottom left at the timeline, and release your click, and you should see a sound file load up right here on the list. Try to give it a play. As you play it, you'll not see your character move, but you'll hear the voice.
Ta-da! Sup, Shorty? I'm gonna be your trainer. Right now you...
Alright, so that should happen. Now, as you can see, suddenly my character is gone. That's because my voice clip has reached 3 seconds and around 3.15 seconds, and the thing is, my character by default only has a little bit more than 3 seconds. So this time, the time bar has passed the whole frame of the whole phase of the character existing. All right, so first of all, we need to extend the character's time frame all the way to the end that matches with the voice clip. So make sure the whole voice clip, when it's played, your character will be present. All right, so we got these two bars matching. Now let's go to up here, click on scene, and then generate a scene automatically. Oh wait, no, I think it's lip sync. All right, so go to effect and then click on lip sync. All right, so it asked me to call with the Live2D model selected, so I didn't select the model, so that's a problem. All right, so I select my character and do that again, lip sync. It will pop up this menu and ask you, is this all right? open close setting. Audio track. Make sure you confirm audio track is correct, the ones that you need, and make sure the parameter is the one that you can call. Obviously, you can use others like her hair, her eyes, or whatnot. But obviously, this voice clip shouldn't be affecting anything else but the mouth, right? So make sure it's mouth open, but not mouth form or any other thing. It should be mouth open, and then press OK. And very quickly, you'll see a bunch of things generated right down there. Now the gray bars right here obviously is the volume, and you can try to drag your time bar, and you would see it should speak along with the expansion of those gray bars. All right, and then there's always those keyframe put in already. Now let's expand the lip sync. You can see that if you play, those numbers will follow along with the volume to change those numbers, and it will run on the same parameter. So let's go to Live2D parameter. Let me see. Okay, so let's give it a play and see how it goes.
Sup, Shorty? I'ma be a trainer. Right now you like pow, but when I'm done you're gonna be like pillar pow.
Now what's the problem with it? Alright, obviously her mouth is moving in the same form throughout the whole thing, whereas my previous sample shows that she actually changes form actively.
Ta-da! Sup, Shorty? I'ma be a trainer. Right now you like pow, but when I'm done you're gonna be like pillar pow.
So here's the thing, your lip sync generator cannot recognize her mouth forms along with changing along with the voice clip. So that's what you need to do it yourself. So how do you do those little changes? How do you change her mouth form? It's pretty simple. Go to the right spot. So right off the bat at the very beginning, I don't think her mouth should be a narrow one. I think her form of the mouth should be closer towards the right side of the parameter bar, right? So let's start about this frame right before she talks, all right? And let's scroll down this bar, expand Live2D parameters, and find mouth deform. All right, as you can see, there's no frame here. Now let's go to parameter material. Where do you load those parameters? Okay, you gotta click your character first. That's a problem. And now you can see all the parameters that you have seen in your Live2D modeler. All right, so it's pretty straightforward. Just go down there. You should not find any green or red dots or anything set up. It should be all blank because nothing has been input, and there shouldn't be any indication of any command existing. All right, so select character, make sure at the right timeline, at the right moments, and then try to do a mouth expand right here. Where is my mouth deform? All right, there you go. Okay, so click here and you see the red dot popping up, and now you can give it a try. You can play around with it and make sure what is her, give it a try. What do you think her mouth would look like when you say the first line, which is ta-da? And ta-da, obviously it's a white lips, it's a white mouth. So let's just move to this side, this end, all right? And let's try to give it a look.
Ta-da! Sup, Shorty?
I don't think it's refreshing.
Ta-da!
Did I overwrite the whole thing? All right, so let's go here. Oh, I know why. Because no. Okay, so there's currently just one frame, and the frame is already affecting the whole timeline because there's no other indication. Currently, the timeline reads as, all right, so you told me that her mouth should be fully open and fully deformed, and obviously she'll keep this shape. Nothing can overwrite this command. All right, so let's give it a close lip. So let's keep the mouth open parameter to minimal, which is 0, but just move the deform towards the right side. Let's give it a try and see what works.
Ta-da! Sup, Shorty? I'ma be your trainer. Right now you like...
So you see, whenever she talks, so the auto generator gives the mouth the open action. It doesn't close it, it just opens, alright? It opens to the correct volume. What closes it is because my default shape right now is a closed mouth. Alright, so default shape is closed mouth, and that's why after it opens, it would close up her mouth. Previously, I made her default form, default openness is the maximum, which means that the auto generator opens up her mouth, but nothing closes it. Alright, so make sure it's closed, and make sure you have the right, and then you can make your own form.
Ta-da! Sup, Shorty? I'ma be your...
So, ta-da, and sup shorty. And let's go to this part. So when you say sup, and that's when I want her mouth form to revert to the original form. Right, so let's select her again, go to the right timeline, and let's tell her mouth to revert to a narrow one. So maybe right here. So let's go back, reload it, and let's go.
Ta-da! Sup, Shorty? I'ma be... Ta-da!
So she did hit the right line.
Ta-da!
Alright, but it's kind of weird because why is she slowly narrowing down her mouth form as she say ta-da, right? That shouldn't be. That's because, well, you just told the timeline to move from this form to this form, and obviously anything in between it's sort of like it evens out the transitioning phrase. What you need to do is make her change form in between those words. So between the end of tada and before the start of sup shorty, that is when I need to input a keyframe here and tell her to remain maximum form before changing it. Alright, so I added frame here, and if you like, you would have a look down here in mouth open, mouth deform. It would mark a key right here at 0 second 29 frames. That is when she transitioned from this down to this one. Alright, maybe I'll move this up a little bit. Alright, so let's give it a look.
Ta-da! Sup, Shorty? I'ma be a...
Perfect, that's what I needed. So she should say ta-da with her mouth fully open, and then sup shorty, and that's when she have her narrow mouth.
Ta-da! Sup, Shorty? I'ma be a...
And then I'ma be your trainer. It's something I would say maybe in between. So let's do that again. Let's give it another practice. All right. So you can see the gray bar indicates her volume, and there's no gray bar in between. Like there are two main gray areas here, and there's none here, which means that this is when she stops. She stops in between sentences. All right. This is when you should throw in those changes. Sup shorty. And about here, I want her form to go about this. So middle, maybe this. So I'ma be your trainer. So I'ma be. Okay, I want to be like, if you really want to be precise, you want your best animation now that the lip sync is so natural, almost like Pixar or whatever. Here's what I can do. All right, I'ma be your trainer. So it's a sort of a medium deform, and make sure we have a transition here. So this is I'ma be, or this is I'ma, and between ma and b, I want her mouth to go suddenly bam, to go full flat. All right, I'ma be your trainer, and your it's then a narrow mouth. So after B, I'm gonna make her lips change from a flat one
Be a
immediately down to a narrow one. Your, right here,
be
I'm
a
gonna be your
trainer.
trainer. So about
Trainer.
here, I would make her talk like I'm be your trainer. So this is an A vowel.
Trainer.
So about here, and I would go back to medium. All right, so let's have a look.
Ta-da! Sup, shorty? I'ma be a trainer. Right now you like
You see that? It's very quick. I think I missed out something.
sup, shorty? I'ma be a trainer. Right,
I see her lips expanding slowly.
sup, shorty? I'ma be a trainer. Sup, shorty?
Yeah, forgot to throw in a the end of sup. So let's give it a try.
Sup, shorty? I'ma be a trainer.
Maybe
Sup,
do this. I can move this up a little bit.
Sup, shorty? I'ma be a trainer. Right now you
You see that?
I'ma be a trainer. Right now
Can I slow it down? Let me give it a try. Maybe too slow. I'll do a half speed right here.
I'ma be a trainer. Right?
You see that? You see her just try to focus on the lips. I'm gonna play it again, alright? Just look at the lips.
I'ma be a trainer.
Now that's how you make a natural transition. That's how you do like Pixar quality animation. But obviously that's an option. You can't like my previous example, it's not really that refined. Alright, so let's give it a try. A normal maybe yeah, a normal animation would be about this quality.
Sup, shorty? I'ma be a trainer. Right now you like pow, but when I'm done you're gonna be like pillar pow.
So for some strong words like pin and pow, and that's when I do a quick transition from the wide mouth to the narrow mouth, like pow, alright? But otherwise, mostly I'll keep them one mouth form per sentence, and that's how I do the lip sync. Now we're gonna lip sync first, and you probably can figure out the rest of it, all the eyes and body motions, they're about the same trick, but try to work with the mouth first, because once you get that in, you should follow the mouth, because all the body language and the eye, it should follow it's try to express the same message as it should in the words, right? So have your mouth set up first, and then have your eyes and body motions and neck and all that throwing in, adding in, alright? And then you can have, I think there's a there should be you can add an auto blinking, like effect. You can add blinking here, and it would give a it would evenly spread out blinking keyframes throughout the whole clip. I tried it before, it wasn't ideal. If you, unless you like you're trying to do you have a lot to do, you gotta mass produce so much of these animations. Otherwise, I would say throw in the blinking yourself. It's not much. All right, just let me see where's the first blinking I have.
I'ma be a trainer. Right now you like pow, but when I'm done you're gonna be like pillar pow.
All right, so pin a pow is when I have a blinking. All right,
gonna be like pillar pow.
I'm gonna play it slowly, and you can have a look. Look at the eye.
Pillar pow.
So you see that? You see that eye blinking right there? That's how I ended the eye blinking myself. Usually, I would do it when there's a strong word spitting out a word, or in between sentence. I would just go with the flow. I would just go with the expression and feel like the right time in it, I would throw an eye blinking. And even if it's completely without eye blinking, it wouldn't be too weird, unless yeah, it wouldn't be like, some might work out depending on the character. If you're sort of like a soft motion-ish animation, sort of like the ones that the official samples have, then you can try to throw in the auto blink first, and then if you need certain adjustment, just work out, just further develop from there on. Otherwise, it should be fine. Slower blinking usually looks more elegant. For my character, it's sort of like, for this scene at least, it's sort of like a snappy, a quick one, a smart one. So I want her blinking to be quick and short. All right. So these are the options. Play around with it and see what works for your character the most. Do I need another episode with this? Maybe I'll see. I haven't figured out what to add more. But at least for after today, you should be able to work with the whole sound clip without a problem. If you got any questions, add to the comment. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next episode.